Welcome to 5 Minutes with La Fuente. Before I begin today, I want to thank all the leaders and all the people that have participated with 5 Minutes with La Fuente for the past 7 weeks. I want to thank all those that have led us in these devotional times, like Pastor Rosa, Pastor Gio, Pastor Indra, Joseph, Carla, and Roberto, and as well as Jonathan for helping us edit all of these videos. And I just want to say thank you. We've been able to hear from a variety of voices and experiences that have enriched our community to be attentive to God. So thank you so much. Today we're going to reflect a little bit on Psalm 139, specifically verse 23 and verse 24. From the Common English version, we read, "Examine me, God. Look at my heart. Put me to the test. Know my anxious thoughts. Look to see if there's any idolatrous way in me. Then lead me on the eternal path." These are the two closing verses for Psalm 139. These two verses capture a meditation on living wisely. This meditation involves a petitioner, a psalmist, who explicitly requests that in order to live wisely, a divine examination is necessary. Yahweh's divine examination provides the psalmist a connection between heart, look at my heart, know my anxious thoughts, right? A connection between heart, anxious thoughts, and the eternal way or the eternal path. The divine examination to live wisely is rooted in relationship. It is to be known by God and to know God. The psalmist states, "God, you know me. You know my daily routines." Verse 1 through 6, if you go back and read Psalm 139. And you know that even though you know my daily routines and rhythms, you have carefully protected me. You know where I am, even when I try to flee from you. Verse 7, "Where can I go from your spirit? And yet you continue to constantly show up. You know my condition as a creature, utterly dependent upon a creator. And yet you continue to attentively turn your eyes upon me, even before I am born," says the psalmist. So sometimes reading these verses in the psalm could seem like God is an inescapable reality that follows us everywhere. And yet God's presence, protection, and attention are liberating news for us. For they point to an intimate life of lovingly knowing and being known by God. A life where our hearts, our anxious thoughts, and our living are integrated into a life with God. Nothing in our existence is exempt from God. Now, as I reflect on this psalm, I recognize that it's easier to pray this psalm at a distance, highlighting how others need to be changed, how others need to be examined by God. Yet, this divine examination brings up for me the need to be led, as in verse 24, right? "Then you can lead me into the eternal path," to be led by the one who knows me and has known me for various seasons of my life. To be led means to live wisely in a world filled with conspiracy theories, fake news, economic downturns, devastating political leadership, racial injustice, health inequalities, and a global pandemic. To be led means that God is still leading us and is being present and protecting and is attentive. For God is a God that lets himself be known. A famous biblicist stated, "The miracle found in Genesis 1 is not that God created out of nothing, but rather that it was God inhabited the chaos, and out of chaos began to organize." And I believe that in a time like we're living, where our anxious thoughts are running wild, where our hearts continue to be troubled by senseless death and death that could have been prevented, as our own bodies are feeling how our lives are out of sync, may we know that the God who chose to inhabit the chaos leads us through these tumultuous times, because this God knows us. This God protects us. This God's attentive to us every single moment of our lives. Amen.